What is going on? Why is it
Uh,
taking so long?
I think that I'm just, you know, the first and like accepted the first two requests to join, and then like my permission for my microphone wasn't like activated because I always delete my Instagram in an attempt to like not be on it all the time. So when I requested to join, I had to like go out and give myself the permission to have the microphone, and then so it didn't work. Like the joining didn't work.
Um,
So it's just, dude, it's just the burden you have to bear being friends with me.
I feel like sometimes you hit it well, and then it's good. It's very smooth, flawless. And then the next session we do this, it's always like, ooh man, it's gonna be 30 minutes before he joins. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Dude, I don't want anybody out there thinking we're gonna be really good at this. So
Dude, this whole time, so I opened up a Korean Pokemon booster pack while I was waiting for you, and I realized I should have brought down like three more because I didn't have enough time to kill. Man.
dude, hell yeah.
All right.
I'm
So this
happy
is
I could be
episode
here.
this is episode 9 of our podcast, Buds of 40K, right?
Best buds, bro. You always forget the best because
Yeah.
you're
I
trying
actually
to
do that
duck
very
and dive.
intentionally. Yeah, I do that very intentionally.
Yeah,
That's the
I
point.
think we know. I think we know
But this is
why you do
cool
that. You're
because
too
we're
afraid of
all
our friendship, bro, and that's fine. It's totally cool with me,
trying to
dude.
trying
I'm
to have
not
it
mad.
public. Yeah. But it's cool
Yeah,
that we started this back in like February and it's still
yeah,
going pretty strong, you know? We're still pretty
dude,
consistent
yeah.
with
I know.
it, which is
And I
awesome.
would only do it with one of my best buds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Anyways, also while we're going through this, I've had this weird like residual cough for the past like 2 weeks and I don't know what it
Uh,
is. And I'm like
mm,
slowly thinking I'm just dying and croaking.
dude,
But
nice,
I thought
nice.
of an idea and I thought of a question. What we haven't really come across this and reviewed this in a long time. What is your thoughts on the current meta of 40K? Like, what's your take on
Well,
it? Where do you foresee the future of the meta with the new codexes coming out in like spring, winter time?
okay, okay. I'm gonna be honest with the audience here. I'm gonna have to BS a little bit because I have been a little tapped out of 40K. Um,
100%.
because I went to WTC, as the people might know if they've listened to a couple of these other events of these other podcasts. Um, and I was just so kind of like needed a break, which I think is really important. Which honestly would have been it's another kind of a good thing to talk about that I'm just kind of realizing now. I don't think we talked really about taking breaks before, have we?
We did a little bit, but we
A
didn't.
little bit.
We should probably talk about it here in the future. Maybe next one we'll talk
Next
about that.
one, yeah. Something on the break or whatever, but my, um, like I think my 5-man team, like start the event season up, because the 5-man stuff is gonna start kicking off like in February. I think there's a 5-man event in North Carolina that we're going to. So I was just talking with them today, like in our chat about trying to get back into playing some more 40K and stuff. And I mean, I think the meta is just going to get shaped by the new. Well, it's a little bit by the field manual that just came out. Like Blood Angels got some point stuff. My impression from the internet is that Astra Militarum are very good because they got um I didn't so I've been playing Astra Militarum. I think maybe we talked about this a couple episodes ago. It's kind of the new faction I'm going to do next season. Um and they're like really fun to play. And there was a sneaky update in the balance data slate where the tank commander went up by like 20 points, but he also gained the squadron keyword, which he did not have before. And the squadron keyword is what gives him access to the special rule for the Astra Militarum vehicles, so he gets lethal hits on 6s against other vehicles and monsters, and
Yeah.
he gets to give himself orders, which is actually just super worth 20 points. Like, because you were taking
Yeah.
that guy anyway, because of the shoot on death ability that he gets on his data sheet. So now he's just like flat better and had a small points hike. But like before, when I would make lists and stuff, and I don't want to I don't want to derail this meta conversation too much by talking about this, but I'm just like, I guess I could just take multiple tank commanders now because they're more expensive than like a Lehman Russell, but I feel like you could take two, and that would be pretty
Yeah.
reasonable. Because they have the really good gun, they have like the great demolisher gun that's like really high strength and really high IP, which Astra Militarum don't have a lot of. On the tanks anyway, they don't have like that mix of strength and AP,
Right.
just on the data sheets. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I think like seems like guard's going to be good, and I think it's really like I think the big book this year is going to be the Eldar book because it's
Yeah.
like the Eldar book always seems to be super busted. Like as long as I've been playing 40K, it's like they've been really overpowered and unfair, not that fun to play against when the book comes out. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen. I hope that doesn't happen because I have like my massive Eldar army that I would like to play, and not have to go through rounds of like nerfs and armies that are kind of like stupid to play. And but that being said, I think that the meta is really going to be the Astra Military. Well, no, historically, both of those books have been a really big deal, haven't they? Like, I feel like when Guard
Yeah.
comes out, it turns into like crazy shooting builds, and then Eldar is just going to be like crazy, unfair, broken builds. So I think it's really going to be based off of those books in the next few months here. And as of right now, I think it's AM is on the top. And like from what I've heard,
Well, I'm hoping they don't like
yeah.
go the opposite. I hope they don't go the opposite route of like under making them super bad, right? Because sometimes I feel like GW has had those knee-jerk reactions where they're like, dude, we've had a lot of feedback from the community. This was super busted at index, but now in the codex, we should really dial it back and make everything overcosted, or like the rules just don't do anything. And that's also what I'm fearful of is like, then they have to build it back up to where they're thinking, oh, is this fair enough? Or is, so hopefully it's a little bit of a balance. I mean, the codex, I would say the codexes so far have been pretty tame for the most part. Like they've all been pretty like balanced, which is kind of nice. A lot of them we've been seeing like trends, right? Like the Blood Angels have the uppy downy detachment. Like a lot of armies, I think, have that uppy downy thing now because they realize that's somewhat of a fair, like the Blood Angels one, they have one less unit that does uppy downy than maybe the Grey Knights and Necrons do. But it is interesting to see more of those iterations coming through.
And it kind of makes you want to have like an army that has more. If you're not playing one of those factions, it influences your lists to have more chaffs. You can screen for longer against those types of armies because if you have a really elite army and you're playing an uppy downy army, you're just going to get. I mean, there's a higher chance you're just going to get kind of like slowly tabled. And you're going to lose all your scoring stuff. So I think like that's where like Guard's in a good spot against armies like that because you just have quite a good number of units, and you have your own uppy downy, and you have the friggin' Aquilons with the 3-inch deep strike, which is so good,
super good,
so powerful.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are you thinking about the meta? What's your take on it? I feel like you're maybe a little more tapped in than I am to the game right now.
I don't know, man. I think
You're like,
I think I brought you down to, I think you're brought down to my level now of like not playing as much, but just watching the meta from afar, right?
Yeah.
And from some like, in our team chat and some of the other chats I'm in, it does seem like the steady state of the A tier factions are still being A tier, right? Like Sister's still really good. Necrons has a lot of play. Blood Angels with the new codex is starting to have a little bit of surge. Grey Knights is still great. Like, I just ran the Battle for Maryland team tournament, and there's a ton of Grey Knights, a decent amount of Sisters and World Eaters players. And this was before we didn't implement the new point system, but just to see the popularity of these, like the Necrons and stuff, is still like, I think, paramount throughout the whole world international meta. It's still correlated to that. So it's interesting. I think some of these are going to still stay up there even with, Guard and Eldar. I think you'll see a surge of those players coming, but that's to be expected of any of those popular metas or popular factions.
Yeah.
I think Guard's gonna be really good. Like they're still good right now, and I think they're gonna try to maintain that balance, right?
I mean,
So it'll be interesting to see what detachment they come out with.
I'm so excited, man. That's gonna be very. I mean, I'm excited for both, honestly. Like the Eldar book, I've really been. I put Eldar on the back burner pretty hard, but I'm kind of starting to think about like, oof,
what's it
like
with that new Fugan model, dude? That's sick. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean that. Hopefully, like a good aspect warrior, like it, just like a nice Beal tan style detachment. Like, oh my god, like that would be. I have so many aspect
warriors. For
so
Guard and for Eldar. For Guard and Eldar, what is your like wish list detachments that you want?
Oh man,
because I think it's like three per, right? So
I think it's like 6, isn't? Or is it 3? Yeah, I guess it is 3. I think for Guard, I mean, I think everybody wants a tank one, like a tank company. I would love like something that focuses on the cavalry dudes. That would be really cool.
Yes.
Like a Talon style thing. And then like a Scion one. That with and like the Scions with the flyers, like the Valkyries. But don't make them like stupid, but like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I've always thought those were cool. And then for Eldar, I mean, aspect
like Halo OSD drop troops.
Yeah, man. Like that would be awesome. That'd be so sick to have that. And then for Eldar, I mean, definitely an aspect warrior one. I know people love the bikes. I kind of like I don't like the bikes as much personally. I've never been like a big like into them, but I mean that. You pick two. You pick 2 Eldar ones because I'm like just stuck on the aspect warrior one because I can't. Oh, and Guardians, bro, bring back freaking Black Guardians, dude. I miss the Black Guardians. That was the awesome sauce.
Black Guardians
for so long. What about you?
You know, I could see them having like a Phoenix Lord one where it's like Court of the Phoenix Lord, where they try to run a few Phoenix Lords, right? Give that multi-dimensional. The Inari, I think, is going to be one where they have their own detachment. I could see Harlequins having their own detachment. Where it's more.
I wonder what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. So I could see that them mixing in Drukari here and there, maybe have some different allied rules. I don't know. But for Guard, yeah, the tank one I think will be big. I could see them also doing. Dude, I want them to kind of, as much as I hated it, I want them to bring back conscripts, and I want them to like have like a horde detachment, right? If there's a horde detachment one, even though I never play hordes, dude, I never play hordes, but I like the idea of a grueling list where it's just like 240 people.
Well, I would love that if it was. So I think that would be really cool, but if it instead of horde, it was like maybe like 60 guys, but chimeras. That would be cool. I think that would be like a nice like mix. So is your Black? Speaking of hordes and the meta, is your Black Templar thing just like off the table? Because I think they killed it, right? Like with the MFM, like they're just like wildly too expensive now.
I don't know if they're too expensive. So you could still fit 4 20-man units, and then like I just fit in a jump pack intercessor unit, and then another 5-man scout unit. So instead of 2 scout units, I have 3 scout units, and then a jump pack intercessor, and I traded that in for a 20-man Sword Brethren, or whatever, the Primaris Crusader squad. So instead of having 20 people, you have a 10-person. So it's still pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But
I would love to see.
It's probably not as good as it was before.
Yeah. But back to the Eldar detachment thing, I would also be hyped to see some kind of cool Alatok thing. I feel like that one's always really hard because like
you can't do minuses
are just never. Yeah, it's just like the shtick is harder, but that would be cool. What the craft worlds are there? Oh, Wraithguard. That'd be cool.
Oh,
I mean,
oh
I don't
yeah,
know that
that'd
I
be a
want
cool
a whole
rating.
Wraithguard detachment necessarily, but it would be cool. Um,
I mean, they have
but
to
I'm just
change
hot.
the fortune dice thing. That's a big one.
Yeah, what are they gonna do with that? That's true. Um, I loved
Similar
it
to
how
Sisters.
it was in. Yeah, man. I mean, the way it was in ninth, I thought was really good. Like you re-roll it every turn. That was like I really enjoyed that. But yeah, like kind of like you said, like just some combination of like the Phoenix Lords, the Aspect Warriors, and the Avatar would be like chef's kiss. That would
Yeah,
be so sweet. That's exactly
that'd
what
be
I want to
sweet.
play.
Man,
Um,
the
that would be cool.
guard would be sweet if they. I think the Scion, if they came out like you said with the Scion one, because that's so thematic. You know, that's
Yeah, dude, it's so cool.
like straight up drop troops, 3 inch
Mm-hmm.
away, like shooting. That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
because I mean, the Scion book is really good. Like right now, it's like got great
yeah.
rules. It's well pointed. Yeah, I'm just like,
Is it
okay,
well
cool. But
pointed?
like,
I don't know. It's 100 points for a big 10 man unit that does everything. It's amazing.
yeah, dude, it's well pointed. Yeah, exactly.
If
If
they
you're
were
describing
if they
something
were
well,
like
it's well
60 or
pointed.
even 75 points, it'd still be good. It's ridiculous.
You think 100 is too much, or
I think it's too little.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Like
they're
each a five
they're a little
man
cheap.
squad should be like 75 points, and I'd still take them.
Yeah. Um.
50 is
Oh, you know
ridiculous.
what? But thinking about like if they did like a Talaran thing, that would be like yeah, just like all the cav and like
Yeah,
sentinels. Like, dude, give me some cool like sentinel stuff. Um. Oh man, that'd be so cool.
it's gonna be awesome. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think those two are gonna be. Well, I guess the World Eaters have a codex coming out too, but I don't think that's as pivotal as like the Eldar and
Yeah.
Astra Militarum ones for sure.
Yeah, those are Eldar and Astronaut Term are really big books. That's gonna be yeah, because man, historically they really are like two really scary books for the meta. Like if they get kind of if they lean, I mean, really if they just lean too powerful. I think if they're like not powerful enough, nobody really cares. But I would love
Yeah,
it if they were just in the middle. If they were like thematic detachments with like decent rules and decent points. That's like really all I kind of am like wishing
yeah,
for personally nowadays. I like don't yeah, I don't really care to have the whole meta get upended by one book and then kind of like feel like you have to play one thing. Like I just don't really like think that's too fun. Um
yeah.
and I'm because guys, I'm 30 now. I turned 30 on Saturday. So I don't have
The
time
Dirty 30,
for all this crazy stuff, all this crazy
dude.
meta chasing nonsense. I just want to play
Bring back
with my homies. That's
triple
the
shadow swords, right?
ugh. I mean, Triple Shadow Swords is pretty cool though. Like I can't even lie. Like that's one of our locals played that at DreamHack. He played Ed Appel played 3 Shadow Swords and 2 Dorns,
Oh, that's awesome.
and they just put him on. We were playing like some practice stuff at one of an Aiden Barkley's place, and he was like testing layouts where he like set this layout out to like make sure he could like deploy everything in a way where like the shadow swords would have like perfect line of sight like from deployment on table 7 or something. And it was just like I love teams. Teams is so good. It's like it's so fun to be able to like do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Are you gonna go to any team events this year except for WTC?
I think that's pretty much it, man.
Man,
Just because,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I think just because of work and stuff, there's a lot of fluidity and not knowing where we're going. So
Yeah,
it's really just
yeah,
focusing on that.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But
For sure.
hey, time is actually up. So do you have any last closing comments for all the people who are getting on late, just like you did?
Dude, play 40K with your friends and have fun, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true wizard. Way to go.
What
Dude,
about you? Final thoughts from the old man
the
himself.
old man. yeah, I guess just being excited for the meta, man. Excited for the new codexes coming out very here soon, very soon. And next month we'll kind of talk about. I do want to pick back up and pick your brain about the whole break and the mental capacity to just take a step back and see what's up.
You need to live life, people. There's
That's
more to
right.
life. Not that it's anything wrong with playing
Right.
40K all the time, but yeah, next time we'll do it.
All right, man. I'll check
Best
it.
buds 40K.
Just buds. 40K. Yeah.